Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this podcast dedicated to perfecting your English pronunciation. I'm your host, Sarah, and joining me today is the ever-articulate Ben.
Hey everyone. Today, we're tackling a topic that many English learners struggle with, pronunciation. We're going to break down the top 5 most common pronunciation errors and provide you with practical tips to avoid them. Let's get ready to make those sounds crystal clear.
Exactly, Ben. Pronunciation can be tricky, but it's crucial for clear communication. We're here to demystify those common pitfalls and help you speak English with confidence. So, get ready to listen closely and practice along with us. Our first common pronunciation error involves the silent H. Many learners struggle with when to pronounce the H sound and when to leave it silent.
It's a tricky one, Sarah. Words like our, honest, and honor often trip people up because the H is silent. This can lead to confusion and miscommunication.
And conversely, some learners mistakenly omit the H sound in words where it should be pronounced, like house, happy, or help. This can make their speech sound unclear and even a bit strange.
The key is to learn the common exceptions and practice them regularly. There are patterns, but there are also many exceptions to those patterns. It's about memorization and practice.
And don't be afraid to slow down and exaggerate the H sound when you're practicing. This can help you develop muscle memory and improve your pronunciation over time. It's about building awareness and control.
Also, listening to native speakers and paying close attention to how they pronounce these words can be incredibly beneficial. Immerse yourself in spoken English and try to mimic the sounds you hear.
Our second common error involves the th sounds. English has two th sounds, the voiced th as in this, and the unvoiced th as in think. Many learners struggle to differentiate between them.
This is a classic problem, Sarah. Learners often substitute the th sounds with s, z, d, or t sounds, which can completely change the meaning of a word.
For example, think becomes sink, this becomes dis, and they becomes day. These substitutions can lead to significant misunderstandings.
The key to mastering the th sounds is to practice placing your tongue between your teeth and gently blowing air out. For the voiced th, you should feel a vibration in your throat. For the unvoiced th, you shouldn't.
And again, listening to native speakers and paying attention to how they pronounce these sounds is crucial. Try to mimic their tongue placement and airflow. Use a mirror to see if your tongue is positioned correctly.
And don't be afraid to practice tongue twisters that use the th sound. It's a fun way to improve your muscle memory and make the sound more natural.
Our third common error involves the short and long vowel sounds. English has a wide range of vowel sounds, and many learners struggle to differentiate between similar ones.
For example, the short I sound in sit and the long e sound in seat can be challenging for some learners. The difference is subtle but significant.
And other vowel pairs, like the short a in cat and the long a in cake, or the short u in cut and the long u in cute, can also cause confusion.
The key is to pay close attention to the length and quality of the vowel sounds. Listen carefully to native speakers and try to mimic their pronunciation.
And don't be afraid to use phonetic symbols to help you visualize the vowel sounds. Many dictionaries and language learning resources provide phonetic transcriptions.
Also, record yourself speaking and compare your pronunciation to that of a native speaker. This can help you identify areas where you need to improve.
Our fourth common error involves final consonant sounds. Many learners tend to drop or weaken the final consonant sounds in words.
This can make their speech sound unclear and even a bit rushed. For example, they might pronounce cat as ca or dog as do.
This is particularly common with consonant clusters at the end of words, like in tests or months. Learners often simplify these clusters, making their speech sound less precise.
The key is to practice pronouncing the final consonant sounds clearly and distinctly. Pay attention to the articulation of each sound.
And don't be afraid to slow down and emphasize the final consonant sounds when you're practicing. This can help you develop muscle memory and improve your pronunciation over time.
Also, practice reading aloud and paying close attention to the pronunciation of final consonant sounds. This can help you become more aware of these sounds and improve your articulation.
Our fifth and final common error involves intonation and stress. English is a stress-timed language, which means that some syllables are emphasized more than others.
And intonation, or the rise and fall of your voice, plays a crucial role in conveying meaning and emotion. Incorrect intonation can lead to miscommunication or even sound unnatural.
For example, a question typically has a rising intonation, while a statement usually has a falling intonation. And the stressed syllable in a word can change its meaning or part of speech.
The key is to listen carefully to native speakers and pay attention to their intonation and stress patterns. Try to mimic their rhythm and melody.
And don't be afraid to practice speaking with different intonation patterns and stress levels. This can help you develop a more natural and expressive speaking style.
Also, recording yourself speaking and listening back can help you identify areas where your intonation and stress need improvement.
A fantastic way to improve your ear and pronunciation is by practicing with minimal pairs. These are words that differ by only one sound, like ship and sheep.
Exactly. These exercises really force you to focus on subtle differences. When you can distinguish between minimal pairs, you're becoming much more precise in your pronunciation.
There are many resources online with lists of minimal pairs. You can also find apps and websites that offer interactive exercises. The key is to listen carefully and repeat the words, paying close attention to the sound differences.
And don't just practice listening, practice saying them too. Record yourself and compare your pronunciation to a native speaker's. This is crucial for building muscle memory and refining your articulation.
Remember, it's not just about getting it right, it's about training your ear to hear the nuances. The more you practice, the more natural these distinctions will become. Another powerful technique for improving pronunciation is shadowing. This involves listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say almost simultaneously.
Shadowing is like being a vocal echo. It forces you to pay close attention to the speaker's rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation. You can shadow audio from podcasts, movies, or even news broadcasts.
Start with short segments and gradually increase the length as you become more comfortable. Focus on matching the speaker's pace and pronunciation as closely as possible. Don't worry about understanding every word at first. The goal is to mimic the sounds.
It's also helpful to record yourself shadowing and compare it to the original audio. This will help you identify areas where you need to improve. Shadowing is an excellent way to internalize the natural flow of spoken English.
And remember, consistency is key. Even a few minutes of shadowing each day can make a significant difference in your pronunciation. Phrasal verbs can be tricky because their meaning often changes depending on the preposition that follows. However, mastering them is crucial for sounding more natural in English.
Absolutely. Phrasal verbs are incredibly common in everyday spoken English. They're like linguistic shortcuts, but they can be confusing if you don't understand the context. For example, to look up can mean to search for information or to admire someone.
The key is to learn phrasal verbs in context, rather than just memorizing lists. Pay attention to how they're used in conversations, movies, and books. Try to understand the underlying meaning and how it relates to the preposition.
And don't be afraid to use a dictionary or online resource to look up the different meanings of a phrasal verb. Many dictionaries provide example sentences that can help you understand how the verb is used in different contexts.
Also, practice using phrasal verbs in your own speaking and writing. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become. Try creating your own sentences using the phrasal verbs you're learning. We've mentioned it throughout the episode, but it bears repeating. Listening is absolutely vital for improving pronunciation.
Exactly. You can't pronounce sounds correctly if you can't hear them. And listening goes beyond just hearing the words. It's about paying attention to the nuances of pronunciation, intonation, and stress.
Listen to a variety of English speakers, including native speakers from different regions. This will help you become more familiar with different accents and speaking styles. Podcasts, audiobooks, and even YouTube videos are excellent resources.
And don't just passively listen, actively listen. Try to identify the individual sounds, the stressed syllables, and the intonation patterns. You can even try transcribing short segments of audio to practice your listening comprehension and pronunciation.
Also, listen to yourself. Record yourself speaking and compare your pronunciation to that of a native speaker. This can help you identify areas where you need to improve. Well, Ben, we've covered a lot of ground today, from silent HS to phrasal verbs. Any final thoughts on mastering English pronunciation?
Just that it takes time, practice, and patience. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results immediately. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep pushing yourself.
Absolutely. And remember, pronunciation is a skill that can be developed by anyone. With the right approach and dedication, you can achieve clear and confident pronunciation.
And don't be afraid to have fun with it. Experiment with different techniques, try tongue twisters, and don't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly. And remember that clear communication is the goal. Even if your pronunciation isn't perfect, if you can be understood, that's a huge success.
Well said, Sarah. And that brings us to the end of our episode on common pronunciation pitfalls. We hope you found it helpful and informative.
Thanks for listening today, and if you found the video helpful, please hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss an episode, and share it with others who might benefit. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, we'd love to hear from you, so your feedback is really important to us. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy learning. You're doing great. Bye, everyone.